Muted. This whole time I've been muted. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm still learning. I just now realized that I've been muted this whole time. So I'll start over. Greetings, beautiful humans. My name is AJ, owner of AJ Coaching, founder of hackyourself.net. Thank you for joining me. Looks like we don't have anyone on the live quite yet. We've only been streaming for a moment. And I actually started the stream with one of my songs from my band Love Trust, and I was on mute, so you guys didn't get to hear it. Weird. I'm still, like I said, learning how to use Zoom, and I did not realize that I was not unmuted. All right. I'm trying to see if I can see these live comments this time. Last time I missed all of your live comments, and I still haven't been able to see them. But I think that I've got it up this time. Okay, so we are about to get started here. I think I got everything ready. I finally figured out how to get this thing off of mute. So I want to share one of my medicine music songs with you guys. This song is called Warrior's Heart by my band. So I'm going to play it for you. And after this, we will get started on our Healing in Nature event. It said this week's theme is pain body. We'll know more about self destructive behavior. But first, you're going to listen to Warrior's Heart from Love Trust, my band that writes medicine music. Each of these songs are designed to heal your mind, the words, the music, everything. So here you go, Warrior's Heart. Oh, I got to turn the volume. I'm having a hard time with volume today. Ah, we got Efren with us. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Hang on just a second. I'm going to share one of my songs from my band. I just hit play on it. Can you hear it okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think you might be muted.
Your volume went down a little bit right there.
All right. Well, you just chill for a second. I'm going to play this song. I'll be right back. I just got a couple more things to set up. Thank you for joining me. Good to see you, man.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah,
No
just chill.
problem.
I'll be right back. Well, hello, hello. Thank you again for joining me today, Efron. How you doing?
Hanging in there, hanging in there.
Having a hard time hearing you. I don't know if you're muted.
Oh no, I don't think so. Let's see. 1 second. My audio's on.
While
Yeah,
you're
my
figuring
audio.
that out, let me just say nobody is joining us yet live, but for anyone joining us later, that if you want to join on Zoom, all the information is in the link. The Zoom room is working, and we also have a new link this week in the description. It is a Hack Nation WhatsApp group that I've started, and it's going to be where I go to put all the information and updates for what we do here. So if you guys want to join that WhatsApp group, it'll be the quickest and easiest way to get information about what we're doing here and when we go live and things like that. So did you fix your volume? Let me see. Oh, maybe my volume's down. Maybe that's what it is. I bet you. That's
Yeah,
it. My volume's down.
my volume is good, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you were right. Here,
Okay.
let me get my YouTube turned down. That's what's wrong. I've been having trouble with volume this whole time. I don't know if you saw the intro, but I literally went like 5 minutes with no volume. So sorry.
Okay. I jumped on a little just a couple minutes ago. Yeah, a little late. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Well, how you doing?
Hanging in. Yeah, doing all right. Doing all right. It's got a couple of days off. Thanksgiving. Yeah, so I'm doing okay.
Nice. Nice. You have today off, you said, and tomorrow, or just tomorrow and
Tom
Friday?
Tomorrow and Friday. Yeah, tomorrow and Friday. Yeah, today was a full day. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I got a little bit of information today set up for Pain Body. I think you've read some of Eckhart Tolle's work.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Pain Body. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm discussing today. And yeah, I don't know. I'm open to talk about anything. If you had other stuff to talk about, we got plenty of time. So
Oh, I'm open. I mean, I'm open. Uh, yeah. I mean, whatever you want to talk about is fine. I mean, I did a meditation. I did like a half-hour meditation. Probably began at four o'clock.
oh yeah,
I got through like 27 minutes worth of it. I'm beginning a nasty habit of checking my timer, and then usually it's like 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's good enough. So I jumped up after 27 minutes. So
yeah, that's easy to do. It took me a long time to quit checking in. Not too long ago, I did an eye gazing event, and I didn't realize because it was so different, and I hadn't done that much eye gazing with clients, and I found myself in the middle of a couple 5 minute sessions. Just my brain is just like, have we been here 10 hours? Like time would stop.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
And so I can see that, at times it's hard to not check your timer, but you just have to trust that, it'll go off and tell you when it's done. But I
Yeah.
remember one specific eye gazing I did with an older lady, and it was just really intense, and she was just full of just really good energy. And I just felt like time had stopped. And I really thought I had been
Wow.
15, 20 minutes for this 5 minute. And then my alarm went off. I'm like, oh, good. I'm glad I didn't forget to set the alarm. Just sit here all
Gotcha. Gotcha.
That is a hard thing. So that's cool. You're doing just non-guided, just sitting in silence.
Yeah, just yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh yeah, I just watch my breathing, and yeah, that's what I've been doing. Yeah. Yeah. I
Nice.
see color, like I'll see the colors in the not every time behind the back of my eyelids, and I'll kind of watch those sometimes. And but my teacher back east was like, "Oh, yeah, if you see the colors, that's not the practice." But I was talking to someone else, and this other younger guy, I wasn't talking to him actually. He's got a YouTube channel. He's like, "Yeah, the colors are fine. If you look at if you pay attention, if you see colors flash with your eyes closed in that kind of meditation, that's fine. It's fine to notice them. Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that."
Yeah. To me, it's all about noticing everything. And pretty soon you're noticing the most minute feelings, the most tiny sentences, one word that pops up. And those things that you notice are what you unravel. They're how you fix your brain. And so who knows if the flashes of light aren't synapses rewiring themselves as you're sitting there in peace.
Yeah, who
It will
knows? I mean,
completely
yeah, Who knows? Yeah,
Yeah.
consistently, even like when I was doing meditation off and on like 12 years ago, I would notice the flashing, the greens and the reds and the yeah. So I've always kind of noticed them most often, when I do meditation. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I had so many visual sensations. Well, about a year into me practicing mindfulness, I started using magic mushrooms with them at times. And so those times I definitely had visual things. Um, but yeah, as far as just lights and flashes like that, I didn't have too much of that in the beginning. But I think everyone's different,
yeah,
like
probably. Yeah.
every experience is different, and some of us just process things more visually because now all of my interchange with my unconscious mind happens with my imagination. It's almost like a daydream. I'll start thinking, I'll ask a question and I'll start seeing a video play out in my head. And so it has turned visual, it's turned into a
Oh, neat.
movie experience, but or I'll be talking to somebody and I'll know they're lying to me and I'll ask my unconscious mind what's happening and all of a sudden I'll just see what's really happening in a quick side vision. I'll see, the reality. It's really weird.
You might be getting close to um, what this guy named Tom Campbell, this guy who's written a book about his theory of everything.
Yeah.
You might be getting close to that remote viewing because he talks about, he started investigating out of body experiences through meditation, and he was a physicist, and he says, yeah, this is coincident with the quantum field.
Yeah.
He's got a few books out. His main book is My Big Toe, which stands for Theory of Everything, and
Got it.
he talks about imagination used in conjunction with meditation and to get to either out of body experiences or remote viewing. And so I think he's got a lot of he's pretty popular, Tom. And I've never read his books, but I've heard him speak. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really interested in all that stuff. I think last on Sunday we talked a little bit about the remote viewing, and I have been watching a course on that, and I believe all of us can do it. I believe it's just all the information in the universe is stored in our collective unconscious, and we can access it if we can get to this peaceful Zen state. And so, yeah, I believe that totally.
Yeah, he's been doing that for years. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't, yeah, he's interesting. I should, even my guy back east was talking about him. So yeah, I mean, just that limitless sort of space of awareness, tapping into it. It's pretty, I guess it's pretty profound. It can manifest itself in different ways.
Yeah. Well, it's my conclusion after about 10 years of meditation and breath work that a belief change, a perception change feels like a holy religious experience. But to me, after having it happen so many times, it's literally just the operating system having thought reality was one way and realizing it's another way, and you're feeling the shift, all the emotions change with it. And so
That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I mean, I feel more calm after meditation, but that's what and I've had some pretty interesting experiences where I've seen things that I wonder that were very helpful just in the day-to-day world, the day-to-day world, just having to do
yeah,
with my car, having to do with my car. Like it was weird, but I've never gotten to the emotional kind of high of it. I mean, it calms me down, but maybe
yeah.
that's coming. Maybe that's coming.
It is, and it's my theory that we all have an emotional addiction. There's a guy on YouTube, and he's a really good coach. I wish I could remember his name off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. But he coined the term kind of in his book that we're all repeating our worst day cycle.
Uh,
And it kind of makes sense that at some point as a kid you had this worst day cycle and it repeats every so often. Some of us it's once a year a bad day happens, some of it's once a day a bad day happens, some of
yeah,
it's once a month, but
yeah.
we're all repeating this cycle. And what I think happens is we get addicted to the emotions of the cycle. And so to me, addiction really comes down to getting to the core of the emotions, because we then use chemicals and activities and toxic relationships to blame the emotions on, but they're what's in control. And so That's kind of what I'm setting up to talk about today with this pain body, because the pain body gets addicted to these cycles, and what we're really addicted to is the shame after we do the thing that we're embarrassed that we do, whatever it is. And the whole thing shadow work fixes, because the whole process is us trying to cover the parts of ourselves that we're ashamed of, but we're only ashamed of them because other people saw the light in us and put it down, and those parts that they put down are our biggest qualities. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of my biggest message today about pain body. A lot of people feel like they're dissolving pain body, they are destroying it, it's ego death. And so I believe that part of our body feels like we're trying to kill it. But what is really happening, if you think about it, it's shadow integration. You're integrating it, you're welcoming it. I think I said last time we talked, the part of me that could tell people to F off was the best part of me. I didn't know I had a right to use it, you know?
Mm,
And so
gotcha.
I was pushing that part of me down and getting walked all over for 42 years.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And so it's just beautiful to see that I only allowed it because of that addiction to the emotions after letting myself be walked on. And as soon as I addressed those emotions that I was addicted to, then I could actually start putting different steps in the middle of the loops. I could start disrupting the cycle. That's what I'm thinking about, and that's what you're doing right now with your meditation. You might not understand what's happening. I did it for 10 years, being told I was the devil because I was a Jehovah's Witness at the time,
Whoa.
and but I could feel my brain healing. And so it was
Good.
like I got these religious leaders telling me that I'm opening my mind to demons, but I'm feeling the presence of the true God, and I feel my body healing. And so really I'm grateful for that experience, because it just taught me to trust myself,
Good. Good.
over everyone else. So
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I have a Christian friend. He's a great guy. He's like 80 years old and he's having a
yeah,
really good time now. He's been suffering physically and I think he's kind of a workaholic. And I told him, you know, man, why don't you just try meditating for 10 minutes? And he's like, what? Think about nothing? You might be opening yourself up to some, I might be opening myself up to some spirit or something. I'm like, why would you think that? I don't necessarily think that's the case at all. I mean, so it was kind of hard to, because he lived through the 60s. He kind of knows what meditation is. But
yeah.
just the idea of not thinking about anything, it seemed dangerous to him. You know what I mean?
Well, and I get it, because there's even a scripture in the Bible that talks about, if a man cleans his house and getting rid of the demon, and he doesn't fill it with the Lord, or the Bible, then the demon will come back with seven friends or something like that. And I get that. I totally get it. But the emptying of the mind, to me, after doing it long enough, isn't an emptying of the mind. It's a stopping the system of unfiltered thought. It's like when we
Yeah,
get in when we get in fight or flight, we just go on and on about, am I safe? Is this person out to get me? What do they mean by this? What, you know, why did they leave me? Am I worthless? And that gets looping so fast that we can't see what's really happening. So
yeah,
all we're doing for 30 minutes, we're not actively taking furniture out of our house. We're just shutting the system down for 30 minutes so it
yeah,
can rest.
yeah,
And when we
yeah,
do that, we realize that after 30 minutes of sitting there, we all of a sudden have access to all of our information.
yeah,
Our body and mind are connected because we're in a trance, in this state of healing.
yeah,
And so that's all you're doing, is training your body to slow down. And then once you do that, then you go out into the world, work your job, be the attorney, have to argue cases, do this, and that's what causes us to go unconscious. So because the little things trigger us here and there, and we lose track of where we're at. We start feeling like we're in the past again, or
yeah,
we start projecting into the future, saying this is going to repeat again, and I'm going to be stuck here forever.
yeah,
And in reality, if at any point during the day we can go back to our meditation and say, no, I'm getting better every day. Every day I sit and spend 30 minutes in this operating center. One of these days I'm going to have everything figured out,
yeah, 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 maybe, yeah, maybe. I mean, it's yeah, yeah, but
I
yeah,
mean, you know the math equation to become an expert on something. It's scientifically proven. You just spend 10,000 hours doing it. So after 10,000 hours of meditating, you're going to be a form of an expert on it. It doesn't just doing it that many times will make you an expert on it. If you play guitar for 10,000 hours, you'll become an expert.
Yeah, but
I could
everyone's
be wrong on that. It might be a little more than that, but I think it was 10,000 hours of practice or something.
yeah, that's what one book said. But that, it's funny because that was that Malcolm Gladwell book. I think it was called Tipping Point.
Mhm.
So I mean, for some people, you don't need that much. I mean, it was kind of
Well,
like,
yeah. But
so
the
it,
point of it is just saying that it's inevitable if you keep at it.
yeah,
If you're adding to a skill, you might need 1,000 hours rather than 10 because you already have 9,000 hours practicing that skill in another way. But the
the-
10,000, it just means do it a lot. Keep at it.
yeah.
Don't stop.
My guy back east was like, he's like, when you're doing the formal, he calls the sitting, the simple Zen meditation, he calls that the formal practice. But he also kind of argues for doing the informal, which is rest as awareness at random different points during the day while you're doing your life, whatever you're doing, like just take a step back and be the observer at different points of the day, informally. He calls
Yeah.
that resting as awareness too. So I really don't. I do that once in a while, but yeah, it's a process. Certainly it's a process.
Well, the
Um,
awareness eventually will get up from the meditation and stay with you. I mean, that's how I
yeah,
describe it. After 5, 6 years of practicing, I remember one day I it was like every day I would get dysregulated and have a panic attack of some sort for a while.
wow,
And then pretty soon it was every other day. And then pretty soon it was only once a week. And then pretty soon I'd look back and be like, oh, it's been 3 weeks since I was overwhelmed.
that's
And
great.
then one day I remember just sitting down and I'm like, man, it's been a couple of weeks. And I got to this higher state of awareness. And when I stood up, it just never really left. It just, for after that point, I would just start walking throughout my day and I'd be saying, oh, I'm starting to go unconscious. I'm triggered by this. That person said this. I need to go sort this out. That person said these words and hurt my feelings. I need to stop. And, sometimes a tear would come out and I would heal the trauma as it was happening.
Wow, that's great. That's
That's what
great.
I learned how to do in my last marriage of 18 years of narcissistic abuse. By the end, I remember having an argument with my ex and her saying the meanest things and just a few tears come down and I could just feel, I'm like, yeah, that's not true. It wasn't nice for her to say that. I forgive her, and I was like,
Yeah,
wow, I can heal the trauma as it's happening.
yeah, that's great. That's
And if
great.
you're aware, you can. If you're aware, you can see the raw data come in and you can translate it and say, oh, that's just a person's their own unconscious behavior. It has nothing to do with me. And then it doesn't even hurt you, you know, when you can do that.
Yeah, that's
So,
funny
but
because I just read about that lesson that you just talked about. What you just said about it's there. It's don't basically to kind of twist it a little bit, like turn to the side is don't take anything that anyone says personally, right? Don't take it
yeah,
because you don't know where they're looking they're looking through reality with their own filter, their conditioning and all that stuff.
yeah,
I just learned what you just said, vocalize a little bit differently. But yeah, because
yeah,
don't take anything personally because what you're hearing is something it's coming through a bias and a filter of someone else and their pain body.
yeah. And honestly, you're in a different time and dimension than that person because almost always, like, my ex had a severe trigger of any male with a goatee because she had
Oh,
severe childhood trauma from a male with a goatee. And so I could be talking to her, asking her what she wants for dinner, and a guy with a goatee could walk by and I didn't notice. And next thing I know, I could get a stop asking me why. And in the
wow.
beginning of the relationship, I thought that was for me. I thought it was she was mad at me. But after learning her triggers, I remember one day that happened. I asked her, something simple like that, and I was like, and then I get snapped at, and then I look over. I'm like, oh, of course, she just saw that dude with a goatee. Of course, now she thinks she's in danger.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But right around that time, I read this meme, and it said, "I've learned so much about psychology. I can't get mad at anyone for anything because now I know why they did it." And it
Ah,
just made sense to me. It's like
yeah.
if if you have a mother-in-law who's in an abusive relationship and she thinks all men are scum and she snaps at you, she's not talking to you. She's talking to
No.
your father-in-law.
Yeah.
She's seeing you as your father-in-law.
Yeah.
If you have a wife who's been severely abused, or a partner who's been severely abused, and they're getting triggered over nothing and saying that you're cheating on them, it has nothing to do with you. They're in a body memory from the past. And the way I see it is, their pain body makes you disappear, and their abuser's face, or the person they experienced it with, because sometimes it's not even an abuser, sometimes it's just the way they took the situation. You get their face embeds over top of yours, and all they see is that other person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see it as like the cartoon where the lion and the zebra and the zoo are friends until the food runs out. And then all of a sudden the lion looks over at the zebra and he turns into steak.
Yeah.
but, but that's what's happening with pain body, is it needs pain to stay alive. And so it needs to misinterpret that the guy who cut you off thinks you're worthless, rather than knowing the guy who cut you off doesn't give a crap about anything but getting home in time for dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it needs you to interpret things wrong. It needs you to interpret things and take it personal, so it can collect more pain to keep itself going.
Yeah.
And so I had a whole format here, but I like the conversation more. That's kind of what I want to identify, is that this pain body is the part of you that actually chooses what data to sort through. At any moment, we have 2 billion pieces of data coming into our eye holes, right? You're driving down the road and there's 2 billion things, tree, the center line of the road, the motor sound, your steering wheel. And that part of your body, pain body, the one who needs to feel hurt to stay alive and needs to interpret things wrong, it decides what to focus on. That's what you're learning how to do in your mindfulness, your 30 minutes a day. You're learning how to tell that part of your body, you don't choose anymore. I get to choose. And that's
Yeah.
what the whole conversation we had the other day about, um, telling the right story. The story you tell about the situation will tell you which identity is operating. If somebody says, and I learned this with myself, anytime I was talking to a friend and I would say, my wife is very abusive. She's a narcissist. She is doing this. I would realize that the victim was speaking. So I started trying to reframe it. I'm like, how can I tell this story without painting her as a monster? What's true here? And I started realizing what was true is, I was stuck in a narcissistic loop with my spouse. That's what
Mhm.
was true. It wasn't her. It wasn't me. It was both of us were broken in the perfect ways to keep this ball rolling down the hill.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And so when I started telling that story, all of a sudden I'm no longer a victim. I'm just in a tough spot, and I'm an equal part of the problem, and I can fix it too.
Yeah.
And so in that, with someone where you're at, you're stopping everything, focusing on your mental health, and there's probably a lot of little things about your life that you want to have different. But this is the time when you don't focus on those things. You just focus on the having them and the gratefulness for what you have now. And as your brain heals, you will get all those things. But in the meantime, this pain body wants to only look at the bad. It wants to look at
Yeah.
what happened today and only pick out the 3 bad things instead of the 432,000 good things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No, that
so
makes sense. Yeah.
this is the thing that I don't think a lot of therapists even know about. They don't know about pain body. They don't know that this pain, this energy inside of us, can all come together to create a personality that can actually pull us in directions and create arguments with other people. The more I do family, um, coaching, like I'll have the uh, the victim of narcissistic abuse will hire me to come in and help set the family straight, right? And um man, I'm trying to think of the point that I was trying to make there. Sorry, it's been a long day today. My brain got a little
No, no, I get it. No, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
but I'm saying in those moments I have to help people sometimes that don't necessarily want to be helped, because I'll step into a family and then you've got somebody saying, we don't have a problem here, they just don't listen to me.
Yeah.
And I can usually get progress by helping the other people tell better stories about what's happening, and then everyone can start finding better solutions.
Yeah.
And oh, okay, that's where I was going is, therapists don't even know what's happening. They, that this is how I'm going to do a live tomorrow if I have time. I'm going to try. We're going to be traveling a little bit for Thanksgiving, but since tomorrow's Thanksgiving, I wanted to do another one of these nature events on alienated parents. And that is such a confusing topic because alienated parents are always the ones who got discarded, and the kids and the rest of the family think that they're a bad person. And that's kind of where I'm sitting with three of my children. As far as everyone knows in my old family, I left the true God and I started sinning, and I hated my kids and my wife, and I went off to do my own thing. Well, what really happened is I found out we were in a cult. I realized that they're sinning by the way that they're living and judging people. I went off to do the right thing, and now everyone has the wrong idea of me. And that is the kinds of things that therapists don't even know what happened. They don't even know how to sort that out. And you sort it out by seeing that this pain misery loves company. It wants
Yeah.
people to be miserable with it. It wants to tell the story of this person abused me, I'm a victim. And and once we start isolating pain body and seeing what it can do, it dissolves all of those arguments. You can start seeing that the happy person trying to create peace isn't complaining about other people. And so when we catch ourselves doing that because we've been actually abused, we tell a new story. We quit doing it, and then the pattern goes away. So let me see where we're going here with my notes on the next. But I think that was the biggest part, is that therapists don't even know that this underlying victim mentality is happening. Well, not all therapists, but some don't. And that's the thing. This part of us feels like an emotional parasite because it sucks our energy and tries to get us angry because that's its food.
You're reading my mind. I was going to go at it from a different, but I have to speak up now because while you were saying this last 30 seconds, I was thinking about while you were talking about the pain body, I was thinking about familial spirits.
Yeah.
Like, how, because I was just having a discussion with a friend of mine who's older than me, a different friend today, and he was talking about how he was actually talking about the Kennedys and how they're, how the one of them, the granddaughter of JFK, and she's
Mm.
gotten diagnosed at the age of 35 with cancer, terminal cancer. She's only 35 years old,
Oh
and
wow.
it comes from a long line. So a lot of the Kennedys have died in because they were risky, like they took risks. Everyone from JFK to JFK's son, JFK Jr., Robert Kennedy, and there seems to be like a familial energy pattern of bad luck with them. And I'm like, well,
Mm.
maybe, man, but I think it's entities. I think maybe, you
Or it
know,
could be as simple as a thought virus. It could be them saying, "Well, our family just gets sick.
there you go.
This runs in our family." That's a
There
thought
you go.
virus.
And it changes behavior. Like, so a lot
Mm-hmm.
of them do have engaged in risky behavior. Like a lot
Yeah.
of them really did.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
some paid the price. And I was having this discussion with this friend of mine. He kind of agreed. So what you're talking about, the pain body, I'm also looking at it from the standpoint, could it run in families? Could it even be fed? Could it be fed by a family and
Mm-hmm.
their own lived experiences?
Yeah.
Because the negativity that a family's all reflecting upon each other could be passed down to the next
This
generation.
this family has a curse. There you go.
Yeah,
Bad stuff happens to this family. Well, bad stuff happens to every family. So
yeah,
if I started saying that to my kids and myself, and I started every day when something bad happens, see, there's our curse. There's our curse. We'd create a curse.
exactly. Yeah, because you feed it that energy, that
Yeah.
attention, and that energy. And it's weird because I remember a couple of years ago, my aunts and uncles were dying, but mostly of natural causes, got old age.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my aunties was like, some of it was she was neglecting herself. She had some issue with her leg, but she was in her 80s, and she didn't, I was talking to her while I was in the hospital for something else. And one of my cousins relayed to me that this auntie who was like really sick with her leg, she eventually died, was talking about how hard her life has been. That I've lived a hard life. This my auntie was saying, I've lived a hard life, and blah blah blah. That story I've heard from my mother. I mean, just that same phrase. I heard that
Mm-hmm.
from my mother. I heard that from um, my sisters. It's like, I mean, just the words. It was like, my God, it's like they carry this with them,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
becomes their identity close to the time of their passing.
Yeah.
you know, and it's the same verbiage. It's the same phrase. My life has been so hard. I lived a hard life,
Hmm.
and it's just, it's uncanny. I even heard one of my brothers speak about this aunt in the same way. Oh, she's lived a hard life years ago. I'm like, where does this phrase come from? Where and why does it keep repeating itself in my family?
It's a
Where is
thought
this coming from?
virus. It's an embedded energetic pattern.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's
Mhm.
uncanny. I mean, it's scary too.
Yeah, it
I don't
really
want to be
is.
Yeah, I don't want to be part of that. I mean, they, these, my auntie lived to be a, pretty good age, 80 plus, but like,
Yeah.
man, I don't want to carry that with me. I mean, that's got to be hard to carry that energy with you.
But
You
see,
know,
you're doing the very work that you need to do. Sitting with yourself and sorting these things out is what's helping you to see that you were able to see right through that. See what is up with that set of words. Why do I keep hearing people repeat that?
yeah,
It's the same thing happened with me, with my mom. Let me just stop real quick. We got a couple of people watching on YouTube, so I want to make sure everybody knows that if you look at the description of this video, there is a Zoom link, and the passcode is 1133. If you'd like to join us in this discussion, you can hop on Zoom. And if you just want to comment a question, I have the live chat up, and also you can either join our WhatsApp group, and I'll check the messages there, or you can text me at 360-798-2184. Okay, that being said, back to my experience. I noticed when I was in my mid 20s that two or three times when my mom was in the middle of a tirade and really feeling sorry for herself, she would sit me down and have this everybody shits on me speech. And it was about 15 minutes, and it would just be outlining all the things in her life that people had done purposefully to hurt her. And after the second or third time hearing it, I remember I was in the middle of an issue getting in trouble for something projection. I could tell she was like, it was her problem, and she was projecting it onto me. And one of my brothers and I were talking about it, and he was trying to be like, you do this, and you're upsetting mom, and this is your fault. And I remember just turning around to him, and I just took a chance. I said, "Hey, how many times have you heard the everyone shits on me speech?" And I watched him turn white. He's 10 years older than me. I watched him turn white, and I said, "You've heard it before, haven't you?"
wow,
And he stopped me and he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "That's the problem here. She's a victim. She thinks that everyone shits on her when really it's just life, and she's blaming us for it." But it was one of those things early on that I started to see the thought virus. I started to see pain body. And to this day, when someone's in a negative trance and they're blaming everyone else for their problems and they're trying to hurt others, I I gotta run. I can't be in the room with it anymore. It's like my brain will not take it. I was with a family member yesterday, doing some family therapy, and the mom is in her 60s and she's a recovering meth addict, and she is just victim and just ugh. And I had to step out. I couldn't take it. She was, because she's blaming everyone. And finally, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to strangle this person because that energy is just, I lived in it too long.
wow, wow.
But
Got
at
yeah.
least now I can see when I need a break. I just had to go breathe and I can come back to it. But the old
I
me
get
wouldn't have recognized I was losing it and I'd end up strangling someone. No, not really. But
it.
feel like strangling someone. But yeah, it is hard to deal with. And this entity, this collection of energy becomes a personality, and its goal is to cause more pain to make itself bigger. And ultimately, it is a self-destruct mode. It wants people to self-exit or to exit other people. And I'm being careful about the words on YouTube. You can't say certain words, but
I've read that. No, it's
yeah,
uncanny. I've read that. Because I'm just spending when I'm not working, I'm spending so much time sort of like sifting through information. I've read that
yeah. And so once you know that that part is inside of you, it is a malfunctioning protective program. The program is supposed to look out and find danger and then help you navigate danger. But when you're a kid and you're in a narcissistically abusive home, and I think most of our homes are narcissistically abusive because nobody teaches emotional intelligence. You know,
yeah,
we don't
yeah,
have many emotionally intelligent adults, and the leaders nowadays are the opposite of that. They are literally 3-year-old emotionally. And so I don't think many of us were raised in emotionally intelligent homes. Some of us were raised in better homes than others.
yeah,
But that makes us feel like our life is in danger because a child that doesn't get the love they need, their life is in danger. Kids will die without hugs,
yeah.
right? And some of us were raised getting hugs every day and hearing I love you, but the body and the body language didn't match. There was no showing love. There was just a I love you, here's lunch money. And
Yeah.
there's no love.
Yeah.
And so we were dying back then, but we're not dying now. We can give ourselves that love. We can
Yeah.
fix it. And so that's kind of why I wanted to make this the topic of today, because what I'm doing is I'm going through all my coaching principles in these events. So last one was beliefs and how beliefs affect us and how we can change beliefs. This one's on pain body, and then tomorrow we're gonna do that little special thing on the black sheep. Since it's a holiday, we're gonna talk
Cool.
about the black sheep thing. But
Oh,
this understanding that this is inside of us and this is our self-destructive behavior. I have a video on my channel that is called "Self-Help is a Maze with Ever-Changing Walls." This is the thing that changes the walls. Pain body. It has
mm,
control of the walls, and the second you know the maze and you're about to get out, it will move it. And so
sure.
let me move up here, because there is I made a lot of content because I didn't know if anyone was going to join me. So I'm so glad that you joined me today. This is so much more fun just having a conversation rather than reading all my stuff. But let me go down here and find some of the symptoms. I'm skipping over a bunch of stuff we just talked about here. So these notes say your pain body is the emotional echo of your past. It is the part of your unconscious mind that learned love equals chasing, that safety equals silence, or survival equals self abandonment, God equals fear, connection equals walking on eggshells. Are any of
Huh.
these resonating with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
give me goosebumps. The pain body activates in predictable ways, and this is very, very shocking. Some of these aren't. When you're stressed, of course, you get triggered when you're stressed. When you're lonely, that makes sense. But here, right before change. So if something's going to change, you have to go outside of your comfort zone. Well, think about it. If you want to grow in any way, things are going to change.
Yeah.
Pain body activates.
Yeah.
This is a safety feature in your unconscious mind that malfunctions because we can't see it. Nobody's ever told us about this factory feature that keeps us alive.
Yeah.
We mistake it that moving outside of our comfort zone is actually deadly when it's not. It's just scary as shit.
It's funny. Yeah. It's funny you say that. Like because you're right. A lot of people don't talk about it. I mean, I even like my coach, that coach who I miss so much, who I just,
Mhm.
you know, who just totally supported me. But she didn't have the, she was almost kind of blind because like she was encouraging me, okay, yeah, go study for the Oregon bar while you have a full-time job. Yeah, go do that. And I believe in you, you can do it. But what she didn't realize was because that was new ground, like studying and working full time for me for a different bar exam, she didn't realize that that was going to trigger like what you're talking about, a pain body. A pain body. I was pushing
Mhm.
through into new territory, and guess what? I kind of self-sabotaged at work. At work,
Oh yeah.
part of it I part of it was that fear of like going into the unknown. Can I do this? But also it was kind of the pain body too, that like I was freaking out because like, can I do this? Can I do this? And I was and that negativity was leaking out into my work environment. So she didn't
Yeah.
see that side of it. She saw that positive side. Oh, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. As a consequence, I kind of got in trouble at work, but it did work out for me. Everything did
Mhm.
work out despite getting in trouble because I
Yeah.
kept studying. But it hit ahead. That pain body thing hit ahead when a couple of days before my flight to Portland, I was like, oh man, I was working out and I was like, oh, my chest is kind of hurting. And I was thinking, I started catastrophizing because I was working out and I
Mm.
was like, oh man. And I think I got my blood pressure tested at like this Rite Aid. It was a drugstore and it was like 130 over 90, which was high for me. And
Yeah.
and then I felt the pain. I was like, oh dude, this is it. This is where I have a heart attack. It's
Yeah.
2 days, my flight is 2 days away. This is where I'm going to find out. But luckily for me, I had the courage to go to the emergency room. They checked me out immediately, and they're like, "No, you're fine. After 2 hours, you're fine." You're fine. That's just anxiety.
Yeah.
But it hit me. But despite that, when I got on the plane to go up to Oregon, I had another panic attack. I was like, "Get me off the plane now!" I swear to God, I
Yeah.
mean, I can't take it. I can't take it. And so I had a nurse. So I actually I spoke to a steward. I says, "Dude, I'm having a panic attack." He's like, "Well, do you have any medication?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it's in my suitcase." He goes, "Well, let's wait till we get in the air. We'll get you a drink." I was lucky enough to have this nurse who happened to be on the flight to sit right next to me and start talking to me.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
I lucked out,
Yeah.
I think that was the pain body because I was venturing out
Absolutely.
into the unknown, actually going to take this test, not knowing if I was going to come back to if I was going to have a job when I came back,
Yeah.
and just kind of having recovered that. Oh yeah, I didn't have a heart attack, thank God. And yeah, and it just but it goes back to your point. A lot of therapists don't realize that this is a part of pushing, changing, pushing, growing. That there's going to be part of you. There's going to be part that's either going to resist through that pain body. It's going to
Yeah.
keep you. You know.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got through it.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was like a guardian angel. Like, I mean, the steward was cool. He was like, "You're going to get through this. We'll just get you a drink once we get going." And then,
Nice.
so
That's
that was cool.
awesome.
That kind of calmed me down. And then the nurse was just the passenger, the fellow passenger who's sitting right behind me, decided to sit next to me, and she was like
Nice.
talking me through it. So everything was all good.
Yeah. And that's kind of that is the comforting message, is that this pain body is scared to move out of comfort zone. But literally it's an illusion what it does. And all we have to do is breathe through it. Breathe through the panic attack, and you'll realize. And the only way that I made it through my dark night of the soul, I would have severe chest pains. I mean, I would feel my heart pounding in the middle of meditation when I was releasing energy. And I remember multiple times just feeling like I was having a heart attack. And I literally just had to resolve, I guess if I
Wow.
am, this is my time. And I would just sit
Whoa.
there and feel it. And one time I remember almost passing out, just thinking, I'm having a heart attack. And I just sat there long enough, and pretty soon it started relieving. And that's when I really started to see pain body. I was like, no, this is my own fear causing a heart attack symptoms, so that I stop meditating because it's afraid it's going to die.
Wow.
But I started really learning about shadow work, and I was like, no, we're integrating the shadow. We're not burning the shadow at the stake. We're utilizing the good, and we're burning off the unnecessary. We're burning off the patterns that don't serve us anymore, but we're keeping all the parts of us that are helpful, all the protective parts of us that we've pushed away, you know? And so these are some really important points here. Right before change acts up, during the holidays, because that's when a lot of pain happens, and when we're really wondering, am I enough, am I really enough, we're wondering around those times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you get close to healing, that is when it really picks up, because it feels like when you heal it will die. And that's my message today. It's not dying, it's healing with you. It's going to become something better. It is the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's going to become a different kind of entity that helps you from now on. And then here's the last one that I had in my notes: when you become too peaceful because it feels unsafe. And
Uh,
I have literally seen clients come to me when they've gotten rid of all their toxic relationships. They're in a healthy relationship, and I have watched people nearly melt down because the peace was too much to take, because they need red flags to feel comfortable. And I've watched them run out of safe environments
wow.
into the sheer hell environments because it felt safer. And then instantly they're like, how did I end up back here? This wasn't my fault. And everyone around them was like, yeah, you kind of just ran there. And pretty soon they're like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. But it's because they don't have a grasp on this pain body, and it acts as if it's them, and they think it is them, you know. But I think you're starting to see that this is what's causing the confusion about meditation. This is what makes you wonder, is it working? Am I wasting my time? How long is this going to be? All those questions, it, the more you talk to people, it happens naturally. You don't have to do any work. You just have, the work is sitting down. with yourself.
Yeah.
The work
Yeah,
is letting go of worry, you know.
I agree. But it's what's interesting though is my guy back east who I respect, who like I the guy who I consult with who teaches the Zen meditation and he kind of it's unfortunate that he does this because like I was attracted to what he had to say because of the success that he talked about with his he was teaching meditation in prison. Like he was a
Mm,
warden of a prison. He was teaching it and the success he was having with that population. But
mhm,
when I work with him, almost every session, he's like, you realize how difficult this is going to be. Like you're not like you realize what a really long haul this is going to be. And I'm like, yeah, I realize that, but I think it's worth it anyways. And I keep so what I'm trying to say is when I have sessions with him alone, it's like
mhm.
he's like, this is really hard, and you got to do it right, or you're wasting your time, or this, that, and the other. And I'm like, that doesn't help, man. That doesn't help. Like I don't because I kind of ask him, if I just do it with a sincere, earnest heart for 30 minutes, no matter what, am I going to get some benefit? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's good enough for me. That's good
Yeah.
enough for me.
And I think
He just
he's
he
maybe,
has a I think he has a mind virus.
yeah,
It's like,
I think he
unfortunately,
has seen enough people try it and give up.
yeah.
But the thing is, I practiced mindfulness for 2 years, started out just 10 minutes a day. You're already doing way, I could barely do 10 minutes a day. I promise you, when I started my very first time setting a 10-minute timer, my body got up on its own at 3 minutes and started walking to my
Whoa.
car. And as
Wow.
I'm walking to my car, I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Wow.
I was like, I don't even remember opening my eyes, and I'm walking to my car, I'm locking the door.
Whoa.
So all I did was sit with 10 minutes, not even knowing what to expect, and automatically my mind started doing shadow work naturally. Now,
Well, that's great.
I was reading Carl Jung books, and I was reading psychology books, so I'm sure it was the stuff I was putting in my head. But the more I study about my hero, Milton H. Erickson, the most famous hypnotherapist of our time, who was also a psychologist and a medical doctor, he believed with all of his heart that all he had to do was teach people this metaphorical or this metaphysical state of trance, and their body would heal itself. He even had a story about how he had a friend that wanted to learn self hypnosis, and other hypnotherapists were like, um, kind of watching to see how he would handle the situation. And he just taught this guy how to go into a trance by looking in the mirror. And then when people ask him, like, well, who's going to tell him how to fix his brain? Where, why you're not there to say, you know, you're, you know, you're replacing false beliefs with, you're not there to guide it. And his basic um, message after that, it was an old YouTube video that I saw from in the 80s when he was alive. His message from that scenario was, I've learned over the years, I don't have to tell the unconscious mind what to do. I just have to teach it how to rest, and it will fix
Hmm.
itself.
Oh,
And
good.
so,
Excellent.
now take that into consideration, and then now add reading Tolle's books. Read a psychology book. Have these conversations. Now it's going to speed up 100-fold. You know, because
Yeah.
you're spending time consciously looking into the unconscious programming in your meditation, and you're spending time consciously talking about it in your day, and reading and watching videos. You're always talking about new videos that you've seen.
Oh, yeah.
So it is only a matter of time before you become the human programmer, because you are putting the hours in. Once you reach your figurative 10,000 hours, whatever that is for you, you
Yeah.
will start getting it. So let's take a quick look, unless you had any other comments about that, on
No,
the
no.
cycle of how this works, pain body cycle. We have a, let's see, 8-step cycle that starts with the trigger. Now, the trigger, I mean, we hear, oh, I'm triggered all the time, but what I don't know if many people really know what a trigger is. A trigger is just a piece of raw data coming at you that your mind misunderstands as coming from the past. It's somebody saying something that your mom said to you that meant something mean, but it doesn't mean it when they say it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll never forget one of my religious clients who was deprogramming their cult beliefs, and doing a religious deprogramming. We were working together, and they had a lot of trauma from their childhood because their aunt called all the kids, you little shit. and she was a Jehovah's Witness, and that to her was a bad word, and the aunt was calling her. But then, as an adult, asking the aunt what that meant, oh, it's just a term of endearment. It's like, yo, you little poop head, oh, it's
Yeah.
bad choice, not thinking of the other person. But you can see an aunt that's actually a compliment, but it
Yeah.
caused trauma for the child. So now the trigger, I bring that up because then the trigger could she could be talking to someone as an adult and have them say, oh, that little shit, and now all of a sudden she's a child back in her child body, and that person is the aunt, and she might be responding to that person as if they said something mean to her, you know.
Yeah.
And so we had to work through that trigger. And so the next step would be the activation. That's when you'd be like, oh, I'm in this old situation now. You're time traveling, you're in the past. The next one is the emotional surge. And here's where your body wants to now act and do the self destructive behavior so that it can, well, that's the compulsive reaction, number four. And then number five would be the temporary relief you feel from doing the reactive thing, the yelling or the running or the freezing, whatever the reactive thing is. And then six is what you're looking for is the shame and fear afterwards. That's what you're going for. So anytime you see a loop fully unfolding and you get to the shame and fear, you can stop and say, this is what my unconscious mind, this is what my pain body wanted. This is the drug. This is the food that I'm looking for.
That's
Helps
interesting
you
because
reverse.
I've never known that we could be addicted to shame. I knew fear and anxiety I knew, but I
Oh
never thought,
man.
wow, that's an eye opener to me to be
Well,
addicted
think
to
about
shame.
it. My whole childhood, anytime I did something wrong, shame on you. Shame. You shouldn't have. Shame on. A 2 year, 5 year old doesn't know what the heck that means.
Yeah.
So you just have this moment where a parent is pointing their finger, projecting their idea of shame, and you're an empathic child. That feeling goes into your body, and
Yeah.
they're like, "You should feel this way," and you're like, "Done. My body is saturated in that feeling." And if it stays there, any time, any amount of time between being conceived and being 8 years old, those are the formative years when our unconscious mind builds all of our underlying programming. So if you spent once a week in shame over those 8 years, 9 years, because you got 9 months in the womb, over those 9 years, you may have spent a whole solid year in shame. So your body needs a fix once a week.
Wow. Wow. Huh.
And so it is very important to name these feelings that come up. If you're like, man, I feel this twice a day, it is something that needs to be addressed because that's the addiction. It's coming up every day. And we're blind to the fact we think it's the raw data coming in. Well, that's just because that dude at work's a jerk. That's just because that judge I'm dealing with is a jerk. No, it's not. It's because you're using that to create the feeling.
Wow. Wow.
Your
Yeah.
body's
Wow.
using that. And so yeah, it's and then the last two are reset and repeat. Sorry, I got an alarm for 6 o'clock. So, so this, let me just quickly go through the whole process. It's trigger, activation, emotional surge, compulsive reaction, temporary relief, then the shame and fear, reset, repeat. And a lot of us are living that day over and over and over. And sometimes it's a week cycle, sometimes it's a month. Families, I've noticed a lot, oftentimes have 3 month cycles or 6 month cycles. I've worked with some family that about once a year they have a blow up, and everyone's scattered to the winds, and then they get back together, and about once a year it happens. Those are what we are looking for. The this always happens every time. Those are the stories that we need to earmark and say, this might be pain body.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm picking this pattern out of raw data, and maybe I could choose a different pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really important to identify these. So I got a couple of examples for each of my coaching niches. I work with narcissistic family recovery, addiction recovery, high control religion deprogramming, and small businesses. So let's start with the narcissistic family. It shows how this might work. You might get a text from a parent, and instantly your stomach drops and pain body activates. Old guilt says you need to respond or you're bad. And there, you're right in the loop. Now
Yeah.
you either treat the parent as if they're forcing you to responding when you're the one who feels like you have to. They might reinforce that feeling, but you don't have to pay attention to it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Addiction recovery. You feel lonely at night. Pain body triggers. Your brain says you need relief now, and that's when people pick up the drink. They pick up the whatever addiction. But it's the feeling, and it's the feeling of shame after they've drank or after they've used the drug that they're actually looking for. The drug doesn't matter. I knew my whole life that I would call it at 16, I would say I have a transient addiction. If I have hella coffee, I don't need nicotine. If I have cigarettes, I don't need coffee. If I have weed, I don't need anything else. If I have booze, I don't need weed. I just knew when
Yeah.
I was a kid. And what it was is when I would act out in that way, then my religious trauma could start up. You're a sinner. You're going to hell. You're not going to make it in the rapture. Jesus doesn't love you anymore. And then I got my fix of shame.
Gotcha. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So high control religion, maybe you make a distinct decision for yourself. Like maybe for me, when I was in the Jehovah's Witness cult, when marijuana became legal, I was on all kinds of anti-anxiety drugs, and they were just messing with my head. They were trying to put me on Adderall, all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
And
wow.
I decided that against the elders' wishes, they said that it was a spiritual bad thing to smoke weed. Well, I started doing research. I'm like, all these drugs that I'm taking for depression are worse than the marijuana is. And so this, I actually went through this. I would make a decision for myself, and I would have to hide it from my wife and everyone because I'd get in trouble. And then pain body would trigger, and my brain would say, "You're a sinner. You're rebelling. You're unsafe now. You're not going to make it to the new world."
Wow. Wow.
Small business, we might launch something new or start a new career, and pain body triggers, and this is the most common one. You don't deserve success. You don't deserve the big business. You don't deserve the high paying job. That's what comes up usually, the I am not enough.
Yeah.
So all of these are examples, but the point is that the pain body is not the enemy. It is your injured child trying to protect you with outdated survival tools. That's all it is. We're just seeing an old ghost program. That's it.
You know what's interesting is I get it about shame, even though that concept is new to me, being addicted to it. It's I can see how that works. But I've seen being addicted, and in my own experience, being addicted to worrying. Like worrying was a good thing. Like when I was a kid, I somehow got the message that if you don't worry about something,
Mm.
you're not concerned enough. You're not taking it seriously enough.
Oh
That
yeah.
worrying itself was a good thing. Worrying means you're doing God's work. Like worrying means I
Oh
somehow
man.
got that all twisted up. That if you're not worrying, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that is a sick thought virus because then you end up worrying all the time, and the worrying
yes,
actually hinders you. It takes your energy
yeah.
to solve the problem.
That's been a big part of my experience. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're not trying, I mean, if if you're not even worrying, yeah, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Excuse me. Yeah. And those are really hard things to unlearn because even when you catch yourself believing you have to worry to be successful, then it's hard to turn it off. And so
Exactly.
that's why I'm trying to point out this pain body, because when you see all the control that it has, it can fool people and stay on. And once we see it fully, it's easy to see all of its tricks. Like for me today, I knew I was doing this live stream and I was feeling a little bit nervous about it. And 11 this morning, I'm like, I'm going to do an extra long breath work, and I had it all loaded up, my 30-minute breath work. And then something came up, and I'm like, oh, I better do that first. And then I wanted to roll a spliff. I needed some medicine. I wanted to do that first. Guess what? Never even got to it. My pain
Wow.
body won.
Wow.
But I know the tricks, and I don't know if you ever seen the movie. The dinosaurs on the island, Jurassic Park.
Parts
The
of it.
first,
Parts of
the
it.
first Jurassic Park, when the guide is out and the T Rex is chasing him, and he turns a corner and she has trapped him, and he looks at her and he looks up and he's like, "Clever girl," and then he gets
Huh.
eaten. Every time my pain body wins, I see that movie. Like today, about right before I
Totally.
started, I was like, "Oh, I never got to my breath work today," and I just stopped. I'm like, "Clever girl, she got me." But I don't feel bad. I laugh it off. I know that's my self destructive behavior. Now at this point, I just laugh about it. There's nothing I can do about it, you know, except tomorrow when I say I'm going to do it and that thought comes up, well, I probably should do this first. Maybe I should go make my bed first. Maybe I should go do this first. I'll have to just say, no, yesterday you got me by doing that, you
Huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
know? So let's see. I'm having fun with this conversation. I hate just reading and just talking to myself. So I got to
Yeah.
thank you again for hanging out with
No
me.
worries, no worries.
So I got a few points about the origins of the pain body. Your pain body was built during moments of chronic chaos, inconsistent love, guilt based religion, unpredictable parents, addictions, abandonment, physical or emotional intimidation, identity suppression, shame based obedience training, spiritual fear conditioning. So these are the times when pain body gets built when we're sitting as a child in any of those. Because childhood trauma is literally any situation that a child can't fully process. I mean, you'll walk up and say a funny word to a kid and you're a stranger and they get a scary feeling. That could be trauma because they don't, what did he mean? What does that mean about me? Could be anything. So in all of those situations when it's formed, the biological components, when your pain body activates, your prefrontal cortex goes offline. So the third eye literally shuts. Your spiritual senses shut. Your body and mind disconnect. So you lose access to all the information stored in your quantum processing body computer. And your limbic reptile brain takes over. So now you go from the brain of a sentient human with consciousness to the brain of a reptile. And what does the brain of a reptile want to do?
Survive.
Yep, fight. We got the four F's. Everyone has heard fight, flight, or freeze, but there's one more we'll get to in a second. So basically, we go fully unconscious, and then the body just gets to react. It gets to do what it did every other time it heard this happen. Every other time, it just goes and does it. And sometimes huge programs can play. I mean, people can destroy their whole life after this because it's all autopilot. It's like, you know, break up with their healthy partner, run away out of the safe place. There's all kinds of stuff that happen, and it's not their fault. Everyone watching is like, this person's crazy,
Or
and
even
then
more extreme, like what my guy back east was saying. I never really, and I've experienced it in my own life. Maybe hopefully this follows what you're saying is like,
yeah,
being triggered into that limbic reptilian state. If it's anger, if it's fight, if it's the fight, people become the anger. People can get so flipped out that they can do the most extreme acts of violence because the anger, that pain body takes over their identity.
yeah,
It runs it.
yeah.
That's why
It's
people are in prison. I mean, that's how it was presented to me because I trust my guy back east because he's a
yeah,
warden of a prison,
yeah.
and
He
that's what
probably
happens.
does. Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
happens sometimes.
It is funny that you say that because when I was learning about pain body, I was watching one of those cop shows and or maybe it was a YouTube channel where they tell these outrageous stories. And here you had a husband and wife married 30 years and the wife gets murdered and drowned in the pool. Husband says he doesn't remember what happened. Later on they see the backyard video camera shows that he killed her. He pushed her in, holds her under, gets out of the pool, and just changes his clothes, whatever. And he's like, I don't remember it. I have no idea. I
Wow,
think I was sleepwalking. Well,
wow.
as I'm listening to this, they're saying how the husband and wife have a perfect relationship. Everyone's like, the kids are like, we know dad didn't mean to do this. As I'm listening to everything, I'm learning about pain body. I realize that it's a very narcissistic up and down relationship. They're like, well, there was a lot of arguments and mom was upset a lot, but dad was never. This guy just kept pushing pain body down until one day he just snapped and his pain body said, turn off the brain. We're going to go take care of a problem.
Yeah, wow.
He unconsciously drowned the problem rather than fixing himself and learning how to talk and learning how to communicate and be heard. And it really broke my heart because this guy was in prison just saying, I know I didn't mean to do this. I know, um, and I don't remember it. And it's like, man, I could see he just didn't take care of his mental health, and he just pushed it
Yeah.
down until pain body made him unconscious and took over.
Yeah.
Sad, very, very, very sad. And so that you can see just with this explanation, prefrontal cortex goes offline, third eye closes, limbic reptile brain takes over, we go fully unconscious, and then the body does whatever it feels like it needs to do. And that's when you get people, I don't know why I cheated, I don't know this, because it's just, it's a program, it's a, they can't sort it out, they were just reacting one thing after another.
Yeah.
Doesn't
It's
make it
sad.
okay. Yeah, nobody's
It
saying
be,
it's okay.
yeah, it's sad because and it kind of implies, this is what my teacher kind of got into, and what you're implying too. How much how much free will do we really have if we're not conscious? If we're not conscious of these forces,
Yeah,
how much free will do we really have? Like even the best of us could embody anger at the worst time
yeah.
and flip
carl,
and
Carl
do
Jung.
something permanent,
Yeah,
you know?
Carl Jung said it the best. He said, until we make the unconscious things conscious, they will rule our lives and we will call it fate.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
unconscious things, these things will say, I don't know why. Anytime, if you ever watch the movie Back to the Future, the main character or one of the characters, I can't remember who it is, anytime they called him a yellow belly, he'd end up covered in cow poop, because
Wow.
he would react,
Okay.
chase them, do whatever, crash. And what they
Wow.
were in a silly way showing you in every movie this would happen because he would react. He didn't realize that that one funny scene that played in all the movies kind of shows you it's like it's the trigger is leading you back to a broken part of you. In the movie, if he would have followed the yellow belly comment back to realize that he thought he was that and he was rejecting it so much it hurt him, then he could fix it. And then when someone called him it, he would be like, so it's not true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we can start seeing those triggers as markers for a broken part of us, then we'll stop blaming the raw data out there. We'll stop blaming tyrant mom. you know my mom is in a pattern of abandoning her children. Her mom abandoned her. I remember when I was young that her mom was like, we can't ever talk to each other. Then when I went into this Jehovah's Witness cold in my late 20s, she said, you change religions, you don't serve the true God anymore, I can't talk to you anymore. And it's kind of like, oh, you're saying they're a cult because they do this, but it's a pattern. She didn't know what she was doing. Her body felt like that was the right thing to do. She felt like it was the best way to help me. She didn't know it was actually murder to your child to do that.
Yeah.
And so once we see that they're just playing out a pattern, it makes it a lot easier to deal with. Um, so the unconscious component, oh, that's where we're at, the unconscious component. The pain body repeats cycles because your unconscious mind believes those cycles equal survival, not happiness, not fulfillment, not growth, just survival. It's trying to get you to survive, and it's
Yeah.
misinterpreting normal situations as life and death situations. It's just misfiring. It's a broken self protection mechanism that's malfunctioning.
Yeah.
So what actually happens here in real time is that we're feeling a body memory from the past once we get triggered, and it's telling your unconscious mind that it's in the same situation as it was in the past. It's bending the raw data. So the unconscious goes immediately into the 4 F's. Here's where we'll learn the last one. Maybe you probably already know it. Fight, flight, freeze, and most don't know the fourth part of this process is fornicate. So when your body is in that mode, it can freeze, run, or fight, or procreate. Those are the only things it can do, which makes sense why relationship drama and toxic patterns get so bad, because we end up triggering each other's pain body. And in a relationship, you have all 4 automatic responses. You go from running to fighting to freezing to fornicating. And then you start over. Pretty soon you're
It's
doing all
funny.
4 at the same time.
You just connected a dot because when you first went through that, I was like, wait a minute, how does that work? Because if you're totally stressed out part of, I've experienced part of, that part of it doesn't work. But then you went further into it. Like, no, he's right. Because I remember being in a relationship, we were fighting all day long, screaming at each other while we're driving in a car to a point where it got dangerous, right, on the freeway. And then we get back home and she's exhausted. And what do we end up doing? We ended up,
Yep.
yeah. And it
It's a
was, oh,
pattern. It's an up
yeah,
and down wave. You're riding the emotions
yeah.
in a narcissistic, abusive relationship. Both parties are addicted to the extremes. Both
Yeah,
parties
no, I
are
see that.
absolutely addicted to the low, and they're both absolutely addicted to the high, and they're
It's
both
almost kind
blaming
of
the
like
other
makeup,
person.
what they used to call makeup fornicating, like,
It's a
makeup
cycle, though. It's
makeup
only a
sex is the
cycle.
best,
Yeah,
like,
we think that we're addicted to the peace and the fornicating part, the sex part, the makeup sex, but we're just as addicted to the fight. And people
yeah,
don't know that. They don't know that. And
that
I
makes
learned
sense.
it at the end of my narcissistic relationship, 18 years. I learned it because I wanted to I wanted my voice to be heard. I wanted to say the one last word that would get her to see that this was not all my fault. And then I realized that's me contributing to it. What I need to do is shut the hell up. Quit talking. I'm talking to the wrong person because all she wants to do is fight. As soon as I did that,
Yeah,
peace everywhere, right? It was me being addicted to she needs to hear my point of view. I need to be heard. No, I don't. I need peace. I stop talking, peace is everywhere.
yeah,
She's nowhere to be found. That's fine. But I
yeah.
have peace
That's
now. And now I don't repeat the pattern. By myself, I never repeat the pattern. I've been in relationships since the pattern's repeated. But when I'm by myself, it's not. So I have to say, when I'm in a relationship, I tend to repeat that pattern because I haven't been able to stop it. So it's something I can see. I can see 100%, but I can't say I fixed it. I'm in the process of fixing it, which is why I've put a limit on myself to not date for a few more months until I can fix that part completely. You know,
no,
it's like
good for you. No, it's
why keep
that,
repeating
yeah,
the problem when you can't see what it is? You know,
yeah. It's interesting, man. That's really, I almost feel like crying because I wish I'd learned these lessons much
oh,
earlier. These patterns,
the crying though is the lesson. When I hear somebody say something and a tear comes down my eye, I know it's the belief changing. So it's okay. That is the emotion of those are tears of joy. Those are your body saying, finally, truth. I can finally make sense of this. I can finally see the part of me that's causing all my problems. It's like that meme where you see the Scooby Doo team and he's uncovering the guy and he's like, when I finally find the person who's causing all my problems, and he pulls the mask off and it's him.
and you kind of like what we're talking about. It's like, and that's why this is an interesting process
Mm,
because we see the commonality, the universality, the human universality of these energy patterns, these energy traps. We
mm-hmm.
see how they play out and how they're common and they're universal in many. I mean, we're not alone, right? We're not like these patterns play out in the human condition, but they're not talked about. They're not we they're not we're not educated about them in our families. We're not educated about them in our schools. In fact, the schools reinforce them to some
They
degree
do.
with the
They do.
competition and you know,
They
I mean,
absolutely
it's
do.
interesting.
Yeah. Yep. And once you get to see pain body in yourself, then you can start seeing it in other people. And those Karens out there, those mean, angry people that everyone makes fun of, when you start really seeing that they're just getting triggered and then they're repeating a program and they're actually in another alternate universe,
Yeah,
you feel bad for them.
yeah,
I watch these First Amendment auditors sometimes, and when someone feels like they have a right to say you can't record me, they don't realize that the auditor has the right to record them.
sure.
I feel so bad for these people. There was an old lady the other day I watched. She comes up and just grabs the camera and smashes it on the ground because she felt like she had a right to. Next thing she's getting hauled away in handcuffs. It was an
Wow.
automatic response. Then she gets schooled that you can't do that, and she's the bad guy. And now she's got a hard lesson.
Yeah,
And it makes me sad. People make fun of it, but it's like, no, if we could just see that they're triggered, maybe we could help calm them down and explain it in a different way.
yeah,
And I'm not blaming anyone with that. That's just a hard thing. When somebody misunderstands a law,
yeah,
they think they have a
yeah,
right. But my point is, once I got to that level, I actually even had empathy for my wife of 18 years who has turned my three of my children against me, all my friends against me, absolutely burned my life down. But I see she didn't mean to. She was just a kid playing with matches, just didn't know how to interpret reality and didn't know who I was and kept seeing her ex over top of my face. And of course, if that happens long enough, I'll start acting like her ex, so I'm not innocent. You treat me
Trapped,
bad for long enough, and I'm going to give you a reason to be mad.
trapped
Yeah,
energies, man. Just trapped energies. And I mean,
yeah,
how much? I mean, we're lucky if we get to a point in life where we have the time to kind of begin to understand these trapped energies and patterns. We're lucky because
yeah,
some people just don't. They don't get there. They
yeah.
don't get there. They either do something really, really they regret and they're locked away, or they die of a heart attack, or the trapped energies cause them to die of a disease. We're so lucky to be able to like kind of
We are.
to
It's amazing.
survive long enough to be able to see some of this stuff. And we're just cutting through. We're still so we're getting understanding,
Yeah.
but we're still so much on the surface. There's so much more to learn too. You
There
know?
is. There is. We're gaining consciousness. I believe consciousness is contagious. I believe
Yeah.
for years that every second I sat in the forest meditating, I was gaining consciousness, and it was the people around me were gaining consciousness as
Oh,
well.
good,
And I
good.
watched it happen. I mean, I had two neighbors that when I started, I'd sit out in my backyard meditating, and they would have the police show up. They'd be screaming and yelling at each other, and then after about 6 months, one of them moved away and the other one healed, and they quit fighting. And it
Oh,
was
that's
just
great.
weird. I just watched them ascend with me. one
That's
one
great.
didn't want to and didn't want to stay in the neighborhood, and but my backyard was peaceful. And at the same time, my family, this was my JW family, they all separated. They didn't want to be around me. They didn't want to meditate. They didn't want to figure it out. And I don't after seeing it, they're where they want to be and I'm where I need to be. I'm not mad at
Yeah.
anyone. It all had to happen. So this really is eye opening when you see that the pain body repeat cycles, um because it's trying to survive. That's all it's trying to do, and it's repeating it at the wrong times. And here we are. The When it's triggered, the only thing it can do is freeze, run, fight, or fornicate. And so, no wonder we have so much. There's humans all over the place that are randomly throughout the day going into those four responses, and then everyone around them is judging them as if they're crazy, or the really bad ones are
Yeah.
like, that's schizophrenic. No, dude is just triggered. Most schizophrenics just have 4,000 more triggers than we do. You know, and by that time they're talking to themselves, trying to figure out what the hell's going on because life doesn't make sense to them.
Or they're more sensitive. I mean, yeah. I mean, they're more sensitive.
Yeah,
It's yeah. That's another subject. Yeah.
which is, well, it's perfect. It goes right into our next section, the spiritual component. There's nothing wrong with us when we're doing this. We're not broken. We're not cursed. And that's really what I thought. I felt like, I honestly felt like my family had some kind of a curse because every female I'd ever had a long term relationship with had some sexual abuse in their past. And we had these patterns playing out. But now I realize it's not a curse. It's just patterns. It's just energy. It's just loops. We're just stuck in a loop. Figure out
Yeah.
figure out how to put a stick in the smoke of that loop, and the whole system's going to crash, and a new loop will form. And if you have any control over it, you can make it a better loop.
Yeah, I've experienced that firsthand. I mean, with
Yeah.
the last few years, to where like I had female cousins who are older than me. They started talking about this family curse, and I'm like, and they're joking about it. I'm like, number one, this is I don't want to hear this. This is bringing me down that you actually believe this. And number two, the fact that you're joking about it, man, that's twisted. But
Yeah.
because for me, it's not a joking matter. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want there to be darkness. I mean, I bring enough darkness enough on myself as a human being, just living it out. Doesn't necessarily mean I like it. I
Yeah.
don't. And here's my female cousin, like talking about our family curse, and I'm like, dude, why? And then why are you joking about it? Please don't tell me it's real. I don't want to believe it's real, but now I do. But I don't necessarily think it's a curse. It's kind of what we've been talking about. It's trapped
Hmm.
energies, trapped beliefs.
Well, you can see it's real for them, and it doesn't have to be real for you at all.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's just but it was to have that articulated by someone who's 8, 9 years older than me. I was like, whoa, that's scary. I don't need to hear that. I mean, you get to the point listening to that, it's like, God, what free will do I really have? I mean, it really put me on a bummer, but now I realize it's just trapped energy, and they believe it's real, and they believe it's a curse. They don't see that it's like something that with distance and with consciousness and awareness they can get beyond it, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it goes even further because we attract more of what we love and fear, and
Yeah.
we attract whatever we think of more.
Oh,
So if we're sitting there 24/7 thinking of the fear, I don't want this to happen, I don't want that to happen, I don't want this. That's what we're pulling. We're becoming a magnet to it. You think about it.
yeah.
When you meditate, you're raising your frequency to the highest you can right now with the trauma you have in your body, and you're holding it there for as long as you can. Over time, it's like a radio station. It's like you start out at 92.3, and after 5 years of meditating, 2 years, one, who knows, you're at 101.1. And pretty soon you're at 202. And pretty soon you're at 144,000 Christ consciousness.
Yeah.
All of us are somewhere between that and where we're at, or we're, down in the lowest. So all you're doing is practicing tuning your attention into what you love rather than what you hate, and
Yeah.
saying, I hope the best rather than I fear the worst.
Sure.
Words are spells, so say the good spell rather than the bad spell, and
Certainly.
focus your attention on being grateful that the bad hasn't happened. And guess what? You're going to attract more of it than the bad. It's really that simple. And so you have people stuck in this pain body who are looping back to fear and shame, sitting in the fear and shame, and then they say, well, I'm afraid it's going to happen again. What's going to happen? Just speeds
Yeah.
up. They don't look at, they don't even know how to stop it. They don't know they're in control of it. They think it's raw data flying at them like meteorites.
Yeah.
But in reality, there's 10 billion meteorites and they're just catching the bad ones. You know?
Exactly. If they can open up, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, yeah, oh gosh,
Yeah.
gosh, gosh. It's heavy. It's heavy
So,
because we're
yeah,
not taught these things.
we're not. So let me pause right there for 1 second because we still have a few watching. And so I just want to let everyone know we got about a half hour left, maybe
I'm gonna
longer.
get a drink of water real quick. I'll be
Yeah,
right
go
back.
for it. Go for it. Got about a half hour left. All of the information is on the Zoom link if you want to, or on the Zoom, on the video description if you want to join our Zoom conversation. We got about a half hour left. Today, obviously, if you've been hanging out, we've been talking about pain body. And tomorrow we are going to talk about alienated parents and discarded members of the family. We're going to have a Black Sheep Thanksgiving hangout. So I'm not sure what time yet. We got some family stuff we're doing, and I'm going to be traveling a little bit tomorrow. So it'll probably be later in the evening. I'll probably do it after 5, 6, 7, sometime like that. But I'll try to post and let you guys know. But if you guys have any questions, I see we got a couple or just one comment saying hi. If you want to comment any questions, go for it. You can comment on the live chat or you can text me at 360-798-2184. Last announcement, I created a WhatsApp group for the Hack Nation. That's what I call my group of people that are all trying to hack our own brains. I call us the Hack Nation. So it's a Hack Nation WhatsApp group. It's in the or it's in the description. It says join the WhatsApp Hack Nation group. If you join that, if you have WhatsApp, there is different sections in there for the healing in nature events. There's another section for my balanced life wheel mastermind, and then there's just an all-around update. So I'm thinking I'm going to use that as my hub for communicating. So if you want any more information or want to stay up to date, join that. Welcome back. You got your water?
Yeah, yeah. I had a swig of alkaline water.
Oh yeah, I drank alkaline water for a year straight. I paid $5 a gallon and drank a gallon a day for a year
Dude, that's
straight.
too much. That's worth. I'm lucky. I get it for $1.75. It's not only is it alkaline,
Yeah,
it's spring water that's rotated in a certain way, rotated at a
mm,
certain speed, and they swear by it. I
nice.
get mine for like $1.75 a gallon in West Sacramento.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
lucky. I guess.
man, for
Yeah, it's like
years it was really expensive. It was like $4.99 a gallon.
whoa.
Crazy.
Well, up there in the PNW where you're at, the water's really good. I mean, you got access to a lot of spring water.
Yeah, yeah, but all city water has the fluoride in it.
The fluoride, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I always buy my water at Winco, because just because it's cheap, you can buy
I love
7 time filtered water with all the nutrients put back in it, and then it's not
excellent.
alkaline, but it's at least has all the nutrients. But I alkaline water, oh god, I love that. That's good.
I
Good.
loved Winco. There's a Winco where right across from where I lived in Hillsboro. Man, I love that store. I love that whole store, that chain. Man, I loved it. The
Yeah.
brings back
Oh,
fond memories.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, my last couple of parts here, I think my last one is I in my coaching I have a step that I call do hard shit because you can, and it's a beautiful thing. It just kind of developed. My daughter and I kind of made it up. I realized that to get out of your comfort zone, you have to do hard things. And so I just started challenging myself to do one hard thing every day. And so if my daughter and I were out walking on the trails or something, there might be an easy trail that goes around this way and it might go up a mountain, and there might be a way to go straight up the side. And you might see one of us just go straight up the side and someone's like, why are you doing that? And you just
Wow,
might hear, do hard shit because you can,
cool.
because if you do those little things, like I would um, jog 2 miles in the morning on the street in Washougal, Washington with bare feet on
Whoa,
asphalt, and it would
wow.
hurt. But every once in a while, when I would do that, I was using my 2 mile jog as a metaphor to watch myself build my dream business. The pain of running on the concrete would be, you know, something unnecessary. Sometimes I'd have huge blisters on the bottom of my feet when I got done with the 2 miles, and it would 2 or 3 days of hard walking. But it was bragging rights to myself. I would make sure I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't, I wasn't going around saying I did this. It was just something I just did. And in doing that, now when I face a feeling or I'm facing a situation, say I'm locked in a narcissistically toxic cycle with somebody that I love, and I want to go back to my avoidance and not say anything. Now I do hard shit because it's fun. Now,
Good,
you know,
good.
now it's like that doing the hard activities makes the figurative, the actual shadow work, the addressing things, that makes it a lot easier. So this is actually going to be a section of my weekly Balance Life Wheel Mastermind. Is we'll have a section of do hard shit in this area. So if it's like your family, the do hard shit that week might be talk to your partner and say your real feelings. That might be, uh, one of my friends, his work switched his work schedule from 5 a.m. to 4 a.m. without telling him. It was just like, surprise, you get to come in an hour earlier every day.
Wow,
And
wow.
because of this do hard shit, he was kind of like, well, man, that's going to be hard. I'm like, well, hey, good news. That means you got your do hard shit for at least a week. And he goes, what do you mean a week? And I'm like, well, after a week, it's just your job. But the first week, you can claim hard, you can say that's your hard shit. And but then I reminded him, I'm like, that means you just have to do it. You just can't complain. And I think he started to see, he's like, yeah, then you just do it. Then it's just no problem, you know. And
Wow.
so it's just a cool thing. So in here, um, let's see, where is it? Oh, went backwards into an infomercial. Okay, do hardship practice. Exercise 1, locate your pain body. So what we want to do is next time we feel triggered, we want to look and find out where we feel these emotions. So anybody watching on the replay or anybody watching live right now, it's a reminder that in the future when you get triggered, you got to stop and say, where is this? Is it in my stomach? Is it in my chest? And that's the start of it, is noticing it. And at that point, you might need to spend 2 or 3 minutes just observing your body, kind of like what you do in the mindfulness, where you just start scanning head to toe and see, where is this feeling? Because the second our eyes are closed and we start scanning and we can see where that feeling is, what we're doing is trying to build a mental picture of this thing that's invisible. But as soon as we build a mental picture, now we can use our imagination to morph it and change it and move it out of our body. It's literally the control panel of your unconscious mind. So
Hmm.
that's the start of it, seeing where, and once you find it, it doesn't take any effort to get rid of it. It dissolves if you just breathe into it. And so we get stuck in this I need to remove the fear when you just need to be okay with the fear. You need to say, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here right now. And I'm going to sit with you until you're ready to leave. And that's really the key to me is learning how to sit and feel the emotion rather than reject it. I feel like I spent 42 years trying to push emotions out of my body. And the second I said, you know what? All emotions are welcome, even the negative ones, because they teach me, they all disappeared.
Yeah.
As soon as I said they're all welcome, I realized, oh, they're just alarms going off. That's all they are.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
But we get caught for years running from these alarm bells thinking that they're real, thinking that it's real pain we're feeling. And it is when we're experiencing it, when we identify with it, it is real. But it's really not. It's our imagination. No, that's all I really had. So this was a fun conversation.
This is good. This is really good. Yeah. I got a lot out of it. There's a lot of resonant every day. There's a lot of like echoes and resonances of conversations I've had with other people and, in real time or
Yeah,
something I've learned or, from someplace else or, it's interesting. It
that's
speaks to,
amazing. Sorry, I'm trying to check and see if
oh, no
anyone.
worries. No worries.
Okay, I want to make sure I wasn't missing any comments. And then let me quickly check my WhatsApp group and see if anyone. Do you have WhatsApp?
I don't have, I should download it. I've never really used it.
If you want to, you can. I what I'm trying to do is create an easy group where people can go in, and then it'll have a little group for each of these events, and then you'll be able to just it'll pop up and say going live in half hour. And like for tomorrow, I'm not really going to advertise it. I'll just be able to pop up in there going live, at 5 or whatever time it is.
Gotcha.
And then it'll be something that nobody has to subscribe to a newsletter. They can come and go. If they get tired of the notifications, they can turn them off and come back and check whenever they want. So if anyone has a better idea of how to set up kind of an email list, let me know. But I thought WhatsApp, it's just kind of a little texting app, and I use it a lot for
Oh,
business.
okay. Okay.
So all you have to do is look at that in the link in the description, and
Okay.
yeah, and once you download it, start your account, it connects with your phone number, and then you just go in and it'll let you in there, and you'll have access to everything.
Yeah, yeah, this is really interesting. It's funny, like in the mornings, for whatever reason, consistently, the mornings have been kind of tough for me,
Yeah.
you know. And one of the things that was running through my mind this morning, I was going to bounce it off you. I was talking to I have a friend who she does Ayurvedic. She has a clinic, Ayurvedic clinic. She's had it for years, and she's pretty good she does massages and
Okay.
does diagnoses and whatnot. And so I've known her for 10 years, and she was like, she said something that kind of struck me. It didn't, I guess it might have triggered me. She either implied or said it directly that, it seems like you, meaning me, I want someone to do the growth work for me. I'm like, and I didn't catch it in the moment. I mean, I didn't question her on it, but I don't necessarily think that's true. I was like, so that was one of the things that kind of like floated through my mind. I'm like, is that true? Am I so passive that I don't do the work? And I was like, no, it can't be true. It can't be
That's
100% true.
That's interesting to say to somebody who sits with themselves for a half hour every
Yeah,
day in
yeah,
silence.
yeah,
I don't see how. I mean, you've never asked me to sit for you for a half hour, so I
yeah.
don't know what
No,
you think you're asking.
I think there's a residue of truth, be from the standpoint of like, asking for advice and counsel. There's a residue of truth, but by the same token, you're right. I'm like, well, who's doing the meditating every day?
Yeah,
That's
I think
me.
you're doing the work, and I think the start of learning hypnosis, I learned that perception to see the world around us is projection. You only see what you know.
Yeah,
And so anytime somebody says it seems that you, anything coming after that
yeah.
is most likely them.
Wow. Okay. That's a good shortcut. Wow.
So,
Yeah. And that's
so
their shortcut. That's their shortcut to thinking. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
you can see it because I mean, I don't this person if you look at their life and you just turn it around and say, does she want other people and start looking and see, you'll find here you'll see. I learned that narcissistic people project and they will tell you what they're doing to you. And as soon as I learned that, it solved a 10-year mystery that my ex would say, you make up your own reality, you're twisting things around trying to confuse me, you're gaslighting me. And I didn't know what any of those things meant. And then I started researching what gaslighting is. And I'm like, well, wait, she does that to me every day. I'm like, oh, she
She's
only
project.
knows
Yeah.
what she does. I
Yeah.
don't know how these things work. Of course, she thinks I'm doing that to her. Of course, she thinks when we
Yeah.
misunderstand something, I'm causing an argument because she causes arguments and she likes arguments. I'm trying to stop them all day. She thinks I'm. So once you realize that perception is projection, you stop saying that guy over there's a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You stop saying, all right, asshole, because if you see an asshole, you're an
Yeah.
asshole. You
Yeah.
start saying, someone
Yeah.
gets mad at you and you start saying, bless you, brother. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about that. Have a good
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all
There
you
you go.
start
Yeah.
saying. Because you realize anything you say is going to be talking about you. And when you
Yeah.
see like a world leader, like a current president who constantly talks about people and tells us who he thinks they are, you realize that they're not emotionally mature enough to realize that they're telling us who they are.
Yeah.
When you hear somebody say, and I won't say names, when you hear somebody saying, well, that old so and so, they're just a blah blah blah, they're just a this. The more they talk, the more you can hear and say, you can hear, I am a liar, I am
Yeah.
this, I
Yeah.
do this, because that's all I see in the other person. When
Yeah.
in reality, in every person, there's good and bad. Some there's
Yeah.
just very little good. But in the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
narcissistic person I've ever met, I've watched them hold a door for an old lady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen murderers say please and thank you. It's like so it's we got to learn that we choose to see what we are in other people, and so just that alone makes us switch off seeing the bad. Just
Yeah.
you know we I got a family client right now that has a very narcissistic mother who's recovering from meth, and it's so hard to deal with this person. And it's just like I'm teaching a whole group. It's like you don't ever disown this person, you just don't interact with the narcissist. You call, how you doing today, mom? You didn't call me yesterday. Oh, okay, sounds like you're having a bad day, I'll try tomorrow, I love you, click. And then you get a
Yeah.
hundred texts. Call me. Why are you ignoring me? No, you don't call back until they're
Yeah.
their self again. You just don't interact with that part. And you don't have to disown anybody. You don't have to fight when they're mad. You just say, hey, I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about it. If I did something to offend you, I won't address that topic with you anymore. But I'm
Sure.
not going to talk about it because all they want to do is fight.
Yeah.
And then they go and find their narcissistic food, their supply in other people, not you. And pretty
Yeah.
soon they just know I can only talk to you when I'm happy. but
Yeah.
but I think this pain body thing, once we turn it around, we see that we don't need to worry about it in other people because we can separate ourselves from other people when they have it. All we need to do is look for it in ourselves. That's
Yeah.
it. Once we look for it in ourselves, we can weed it out, and then we all interactions with pain body will cease once we've weeded it out because we'll quit arguing our point of view with people who don't want to hear it. We'll quit fighting with people and realizing that there's only misunderstandings, and the second the person doesn't want to solve the misunderstanding and they just want to argue about an argument, we'll know that there's no use talking to them you know
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
and you
You
won't
feel
need to
like,
explain it. You'll just turn around and walk away, and you'll have peace, and they'll be telling everyone that you're bad because you won't finish the conversation or the argument. you're.
I get it, but sometimes it's easy. That's easier said than done sometimes because I know someone who, she's just, I mean, she's sometimes I feel she's possessed, and like I'll advise her. I'm like, hey, look, you're going there again. You're looking for an argument. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do it. What?
Yeah,
What kind of argument? How? How? And then and then she'll be defensive, and it gets that, and so the cycle escalates. I'm like, no, I can't. We're going
yeah.
down the same pattern. You
Well,
just got to step away.
here's a little clue for you. I have learned how to completely control those um relationships by misunderstanding in a good way. So This is the one that said, "I'm smarter than you. I have more
Yeah,
degrees or something than you."
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. The answer to that, you're probably right. And then get off the phone.
yeah, yeah,
You know, see, there's only pain, body, and ego want to argue that it's
yeah,
not true, especially if it is true. If it is true, a healed body would say, I don't want to talk to somebody who wants to compare IQ and put each other down. I
yeah,
only want to
yeah,
talk to somebody who wants to learn with me and build me
yeah.
up. So the answer is, probably in some ways you are. Other ways, I'm probably smarter than you. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
gotta
they're
go
so
anyway.
they're so black and white in their thinking. No, they're so
Yeah,
childlike, black and white, and they're 51, they're 52 years old. They're like so childishly black and white.
yeah,
And when I first got with them, my then counselor was like, "Well, you manifested her," because like she knew how negative the person was, right?
yeah,
And my counselor like, "Well, you manifested her with your thoughts." Just popped right up. I
yeah.
was like, "Whoa,
To a degree, and Alan Watts' idea that everyone is you pushed out is true because I have watched. See, quantum physics and the double blind slot test. You've seen that. That proves that when you shoot particles through this double blind slot test, if no one's watching, all possibilities they come through as waves. But if someone observes, it collapses into a reality. So when I'm talking to somebody, when I'm dealing, say, in a family coaching setting, and I'm dealing with the narcissistic, the controller of the family, and they're violent, maybe they punch people, maybe they beat people up. If I go to them thinking that that's who they are, that's the response I'm going to get from them because I'm going to treat them that way. But if I go to them knowing that that part of them is a little 3-year-old who used to slap their friends and hit with no power, and now they're a 50-year-old who can break faces and bones, and I know that the true person underneath them doesn't want to cause harm, and I only see that, then I misunderstand all the mean stuff, and I can describe to them what's really happening in a way because I care about them. I want to reach that 3-year-old child. I don't want to destroy the 50-year-old narcissist. I want to reach the 3-year-old child who's so hurt they became the 50-year-old narcissist. When I see them as a sacred human with unconditional love inside somewhere, and I only see that, that's all that comes out.
hmm,
90% of the time, that's all that comes out. Now, it in the beginning, it's a lot of argument, and they got to test, and they got to say mean things to me, and they got to set me up to see if I'm going to get mad at them. And it takes a lot of ignoring, and you would be surprised how many times someone can outrightly insult me and me laugh at it, and they will say, "How does that not make you mad?" And they
huh,
literally admit they were trying to insult me
wow,
because they're
wow,
so mad it didn't make me mad. And I just say, "Well, it's slightly true. All of us are a little narcissistic. I can see it in myself. I can laugh at it." Pretty soon, we're not arguing. We're having a conversation, and they're healing.
that's
And so
wonderful."
everyone is you pushed out to a degree. Now, somebody's pain body might have them so mad that they're going to control it. They're going to collapse reality into you being dead. So you've got to be careful. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
You
That's pretty funny.
meet a homeless dude with 3 kids, and he's robbing a bank because he has no way to feed them tonight. He might just shoot everyone in his way, and no matter what you collapse him into, you might get caught in his wake. You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I'm not saying that you can just go about as if you're a magic Jedi. You
yeah,
have to have discernment,
yeah.
but to a degree, um, there I was watching this thing on verbal jujitsu or verbal aikido. Aikido is the kind of martial arts where you don't ever attack. You just stand, and when someone goes to punch, you grab their arm and spin around and flip them on their back. You just use their momentum. And in learning verbal aikido, there was a story that came up, and I don't know if it's a real story or a teaching story, but they said there was on the subway, there was this guy who was belligerent and drunk, and he was yelling and pushing around a pregnant woman, and he punched her in the stomach. And there was this a keto master, and he was standing there, and he was like, he was going to stand up and destroy this guy. But then he said the real ascended master walked up and just sat down beside him, ignored that he just punched a pregnant woman, let everyone else take care of her, and he just sat down and said, Hey, seems like you've been having a few drinks today. What do you like to drink? My wife and I like to drink sake. Like, what have you been drinking today? And then the guy's just like, oh, I've been drinking whiskey. And he's like, oh, it sounds like you've been having a hard day. Pretty soon, he just talks him through the issue, and the guy starts crying, finds out
Wow.
his wife left him. He can't see his kids anymore. And the end of the story, the ascended master walks off the train, inviting the guy to his house, knowing that everyone's going to take care of the pregnant girl and knowing that he's going to take care of this guy. And he didn't see him as a monster. He saw him as a broken little kid.
Wow.
And when we can realize that, we can change the world by just giving people a listening ear and seeing why they do it is the pain body and its own
Yeah.
conscious. They have four options. They can punch you, run from you, freeze, or fornicate with you. That's it.
Yeah. 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 It's interesting. It's apropos of nothing. I have a new friend on the East Coast, and she's 47, and
Mhm.
she's a lawyer, and she was on antipsychotics for like 25 years, and so she got off them. I mean, she just kept going. Like she was prescribed antipsychotics when she was 21,
Yeah,
and they just put a damper like on her mind, but she just kept getting educated. And now she's off them, and then they put her on benzodiazepines, and now she's withdrawing from that. She's lucky that her parents have so many resources where
yeah,
she's she's she has a full-time in-home caregiver. She has an 11-year-old daughter. She's divorced, but she also has a full-time doctor. So she's trying to taper off these meds.
yeah,
And man, she's struggling. She's struggling. And it's like one step forward, two steps back. And so she was at a facility in Sedona, Arizona, and then that didn't work out. That was thousands of dollars. So now she's back in her home in New Jersey. And so she found a new facility in Massachusetts. And I was talking to her, God, I hope this one works out. I really hope. Um, Not triggered, not anything, but I feel for her because she can't pay attention. One of her symptoms of getting off these meds, she
mm,
can't even read a book.
wow,
That's not even the biggest symptom. The biggest symptom is she only gets about 3 hours of sleep a night.
oh
Like she's
wow,
been surviving on maybe 1 to 3 hours of sleep a night,
wow.
like for years.
Well,
But
sometimes, and you know what? When I was in my most unconscious state, there were years that I would only need 3 4 hours sleep at night.
whoa,
I thought I was in like a higher space or something, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, that's interesting.
it's part of the come down. It's part of the withdrawing from the strong meds. But
Yeah, yeah.
what really gets me though is she can't focus, she can't pay attention, and just even talking to her,
Mm.
even though she's so sick, like, and she just can't focus. It's like, oh, I gotta do this Instagram reel. Oh, I gotta do like she's doing Facebook and Instagram reels to kind of like tell
Dude,
her stories.
those reels are thought viruses, and the people who created them did it to destroy our brains. They are the opposite of mindfulness.
Yeah, yeah,
30-second videos are the opposite.
definitely.
they're they're the I don't know. They're the poison, you know.
Yeah,
It's like we're sitting in mindfulness to clear our mind up. That's what we're clearing it up from.
and I can't help but think, but that like for her to heal both physically and mentally, there's got to be a way. She does yoga, thank God. So she's had some
Mm.
breakthroughs. Like once she got off the antipsychotic meds, she started to be able to walk fully. Like she was like
Yeah.
wasn't able
And
to walk
yoga
before that.
might be a way to pay attention. Doing some full body, like I did qigong for years, and I had this 20-minute qigong in the morning, and that really helped me. I would do it first because then my body would be a little tired after stretching for 20 minutes. Then I could sit. But actually, what I was doing is I was doing the 20-minute qigong to practice paying attention in a busy way, in the moving way. And it was like
Gotcha.
rather than sitting still, I was doing the
Yeah,
opposite of sitting
a
still.
moving meditation. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And so things that your friend can use are visual stimulants. Like you could do 1 minute meditations once an hour of watching a candle burn.
That's a good one.
So
That's a good
you
one.
could just have a timer go off, and whenever it goes off once an hour, you could stop, light a candle, set a timer, for 1 minute, and she might not make it the whole minute the first few times she tries it, but if you do little short ones over a week or two, you might be able to make it a minute, and then start that 1 minute in the morning, and add 10 seconds every day.
That's a really great idea because, like, literally, she can't. Like, she even told me that she had a. Well, I was talking to her on the phone today. She was talking about how, yeah, she couldn't. I don't know. She was trying to watch a movie with her daughter or something, but she just could not. That's a really good idea. That's like, man, that is so because she's throwing thousands of dollars. I mean,
Yeah.
to these doctors, and it's like,
Yeah.
and when
Well,
I
I'm
can't
gonna
help it.
be having a couple of time a week morning group where I'm gonna do breath work and meditation, and so maybe let her know about that, because I could do a really short and really like have a beginning like an ADHD meditation class where we start with one
Yeah,
minute. I actually for years I've been wanting to do on my Facebook a Monday morning mindful minute where I just add my travels throughout the week, do 1 minute of a waterfall or a stream,
cool.
and really I want to get it in people's head that you don't need to spend hours in meditation. You can start with 1 minute. I say 20 to 45 minutes is the bare minimum for it to really be working and you to
Yeah,
see progress in 6 months.
yeah.
But if it takes you 2 years to get to that point, it's better than never getting to that point.
Oh,
you
certainly.
know there's no rush. It's like our healing is in the right time.
Yeah, yeah.
And if someone is so far gone with the thought viruses, with the 30-second videos and the trauma and the triggers, if they can't do a 10-minute mindfulness, then by all means, be proud of a 30-second mindfulness.
Oh, I love that idea of the candle because she's up. I mean, she would tell me she's up. She'll be playing piano up in the morning and whatnot. I mean, that's what she tells me, but
Yeah.
that's a great idea to focus on a candle for 1 minute, 2 minute. Yeah, no, because I was literally scared. I'm like, dude, I hope this time things work out. But the way she's going, the way that mind is like racing, it's like, man, I
Yeah.
don't know, dude. I don't know if she's gonna. I don't know if this is like because like I mean, she left for Sedona and like everything went wrong. I'm like,
Yeah.
aren't your doctors, aren't they prepared for, because like she was going to these facilities on the advice of her doctors. And I'm like, couldn't they anticipate these things are breaking down? Like, couldn't they? And now they're suggesting another facility. I
Wow.
just hope she's being led appropriately because she's spending a lot of money and she's not working and and she's good people. I mean,
Yeah.
she's really good people. She's bright and just what she's trying to do with the Facebook thing and the Instagram thing is she's trying to raise awareness. And she said she had some kind of phone call with Jimmy Fallon, some Jimmy Fallon's PR team. She talked about going on TEDx. I hope all that stuff's real. I
Yeah.
really hope,
I
you
like that.
know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because she's not fully healed. She hasn't, she's got a ways to go.
Yeah.
And I can only help but think all these outside things. There must be a distraction for her healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard. It's hard because she's a good
It
person.
is. Well, now you can point her back to this live stream and get some, or you can take a few notes, because
Yeah,
seeing, excuse me, seeing pain body makes it much, much easier to fight it. And learning that you're not fighting it, you're integrating it, you're healing it, you're loving it. Um, the mindfulness practice, you're not pushing thoughts away, you're relaxing into the moment, you're observing the thoughts. We constantly get the idea in the mindfulness and the meditation that it's like, oh no, another thought came up, oh no, the story replayed. No, you're supposed to be happy that it showed up, and happy that you noticed it, and happy that you can think about it. There's no wrong or right way. There are many times I would sit for an hour, and the whole hour I would have turbulent feelings and nothing felt good, and I'd get up feeling worse than when I started. But guess what? 2 weeks later, I'd sort something out from that session that brought me quantum leaps 10 years in the future.
that's great. That's great.
So there's no wasted time in this. There's no wrong or right way to do it, and you don't need to follow anyone's instructions. The guidance comes from within, and it's whatever you need to do next. And you know how to act by doing the least thing that you want to do because of our fear. Whatever you're
Yeah.
most afraid of doing that you logically can see is the right thing to do is what you do next. It's that
Yeah.
simple. Like
Yeah.
to me, live streaming was so scary. I could write out a script, I could memorize it, then I could sit and just say the script, and then I could go edit it if I needed to. But the idea of live streaming scared me. And as the more I thought about it, the more it scared me, the more I was like, I'm just gonna throw everything aside. I'm just gonna live stream for a while because that's what scares me, you know?
Yeah. Good, good, good.
So that's how you grow. You do the hard shit.
You're shedding light. You're shedding light, man. I mean, this is wonderful. No, this is really uplifting. It's really uplifting. It's like, I never read Grist for the Mill. Like I think I understand what that was, a book written by Ram Dass, or maybe that was one of Ram Dass's sayings, Grist for the Mill. But now I'm like kind of
Okay.
getting it. This
I've
is all
never
grist
heard
for
that.
the mill.
Grist for the mill.
Yeah, kind of like, like I think what he was
Never.
implying was the bad stuff, the tragedies are just, they're the stuff that
Yeah.
we alchemize into wisdom. Grist
Yes.
for the mill.
You get, yeah, that resonates fully with me. Yeah, yeah, all the bad things that happened to me. I mean, I remember people asking me like, "Aren't you just sad of all the time you lost in that cult?" And I'm like, "Look at the understanding of my mind it gave me. I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't spend 18 years in that cult. I
Yeah,
wouldn't have any clue of why I came here. I wouldn't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'd still be wandering around reacting. Suffering brings awareness. Suffering brings awakening. And so, when we go through suffering, eventually we get tired of it and we wake up.
yeah. No, that's beautiful. No, this is light. This is all
Yeah.
light, man. I really appreciate what you're doing. I
Yeah.
really
Well, I
appreciate what you're doing.
appreciate you joining me. You made today's stream so much better. Last time I was like half the time I was just felt like I was struggling, and it's so much nicer just to talk. So thank you. I really
That's cool.
appreciate
Thank
your
you. Thank you. No, this is really uplifting. That's really
yeah.
uplifting. Yeah.
Let me see what time it is. I think I probably got to get out. Yeah, I got a call with my daughter here soon, and I got to
Okay.
get ready for our trip tomorrow. But I will shoot you a text tomorrow and let you know when I'm going to go
Sounds
live if
good.
you want to join me again. Hopefully, I got a couple other friends that have been saying that they want to join me, so we'll hope that someone else can join us too, and we can have a little bigger group
Cool.
tomorrow. And just for everyone watching, I'm going to make a habit of this healing in nature events Sunday and Wednesday, 5 to 7. Um, Started with me actually going to a park and doing this, but now that it's cold and rainy here in Vancouver, you're stuck with my background of nature.
Uh,
Today, I'm actually in a warm house thanks to some very awesome friends and family that I have. And I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. I got new socks thanks to your
oh,
donation.
right on, right on. Cool. I'm glad. Thank God. Thank.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I realized I didn't have any socks when winter hit, and your donation last time gave me some socks. So thank
Oh, no
you.
worries. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I
All right.
think I'm going to end this stream with just playing one more of my songs. I don't know if you heard in the beginning, but I was advertising my medicine music. I have an album out. I have a band called Love Trust, and right now I'm not proud of the recordings. They're not live musicians playing. I used AI to bring the songs to life, but I did it for a reason. I wrote these songs for healing the brain. They're a prescription for the mind, and each song, like there's one dedicated just to shadow work. And the way that I wrote the chorus is set to help the unconscious mind learn how to do shadow work. And so I started to see how they were using music to put bad ideas in our head, broken relationships, talking about pain. And so I've used my hypnosis experience to put good stuff in. And so I'm going to end with one of those songs to show you guys how they are and stuff and how they work. Sorry, I'm tired. But
That's
if
all right.
anybody is interested in checking that out, you can go to my website, hack-yourself.net. So it's just www.hack-yourself.net, and you'll see my band Love Trust. You click that, it'll have my whole collection of songs and descriptions and all the videos and everything. You can listen to them all for free. So go check those out.
Cool
Sometimes those
deal.
are helpful, like kind of as a meditation. Um, One of them called Breaking the Cycle. The song is literally for couples to do eye gazing. And so I suggest that singles use it as eye gazing in the mirror and listen to the song and listen to the lyrics and fall in love with themselves. And so there's a lot of fun stuff. So you can go check that out. They'll give you something to do tonight and check out that music, see if you like it.
Cool. Can I do the eye gazing with my my blow up doll?
Absolutely. No, I think the mirror actually is really good
Okay.
because we have got to really get a good grasp of who we are, and looking in the mirror, you'll start to get to know yourself. You'll see the wisdom. You'll really start to love yourself more. But
Okay.
you can't look into someone's eyes without loving them.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and so it's just whether you listen to music or not. I just wrote the song kind of as it kind of breaks patterns, and it teaches the unconscious mind how to forgive and how to, basically that there's no such thing as arguments when you're in a healthy family. There's just misunderstanding.
Yeah.
you know the
Interesting.
song has some really cool lyrics, that understandings in the air. It's like when you try to when you realize that there's no real arguments, there's just these patterns. You can actually understand each other when you stop and get in the moment, get in the same moment together.
Hmm.
So, all righty, well, you
All
go ahead
right, man.
and things out. You have a good night. Thank
You
you again
too.
for
You too.
joining me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for all the
Thank
work
you.
you're doing on yourself, man. Everyone that meditates, I'm just really, I have gratefulness in my heart for all of us that are doing this work, because this is how we change the world, from ourselves. You Every day you're making the world a better place, and everyone around you is getting better for this work. So thank you
Thanks for
sincerely.
being encouraging. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Have a great evening. Take care.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. Thank all of you for watching. I think we still have a couple watching. So I'm going to end this stream with one of my medicine music songs. Band is Love Trust. It's one word, Lovetrust. And the song is called, where are we at here? True Reflection. And after this, I'll end the stream. If you are interested in keeping up to date with my events, please do click the Join the Hack Nation WhatsApp group in the description. If you are interested in working with me or joining my group and moving forward with actually working with me, please just go ahead and text me 360-798-2184. Look forward to meeting all of you. Thank everyone who watched. Thank the couple of you that commented. I wish my computer had a little bigger screen. I'd be able to see your names, but I appreciate everyone who participated today. Efron, thank you for coming and hanging out with me, man. You made the whole thing. I just appreciate you so much, man. All right, so here is the song True Reflection from my band Love Trust. Hypnotic beat eyes closed to the sound. Inner peace begins to spin, mind and body found. Ego fades away, acceptance starts to bloom. In this trance I sway, souls emerging bloom. Growing strong with every note, higher self begins to flow. Emotions flow like the sea. I'm becoming truly me. Feel the rhythm steady, inside starts to grow. Thoughts become more ready, let wisdom show. Ego no longer comes, look within to see. In the calmer zone, mind and body free. In space, I'm growing.
yourself begins to flow. Emotions flow like a sea. I'm becoming truly me. Inside starts to glow. Thoughts become already. When wisdom shows, then wisdom shows. Ego no longer bounds. Look within to see. Inner calmness surrounds. Mind and body free. In this space I'm growing. True self now unfolding. Embrace the light that's showing. Pure love I am holding.
Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is Zeph's older sister, baby girl. She wanted to say hi to everyone. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go and it's okay, baby girl. Relax. I will be streaming again tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So if anybody is home alone and bored and wants to hang out, please do go join my WhatsApp group so you can be notified when. I'm not sure yet when I'm going to be live streaming because I'm going to be driving a bit. So tomorrow. So my hair disappears with this background. I got magical hair. All right. Good night, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.